Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a bracelet today, and I'm going to use some of the beads that I have gotten from Globleland.com. I have a coupon code for Globleland. It's Teresa10, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to their homepage. The coupon will save you 10% off your order if you make an order with them. I'm going to be using these little 4mm glass pearl beads that I got from Globleland. I got a big box of all different colors of 4, 6, and 8mm glass pearls. And I had picked out these little lavender colored ones because, I mean, you all know they're purple. And I'm sure that doesn't shock anybody who has been watching my videos for any amount of time that I've picked out the purple ones. And I'm going to be using these Duracoat galvanized gold 11/0 Miyuki seed beads. And I have these little cube beads here. I have a lady who has been a subscriber to my channel since the very beginning, and she has been so sweet and supportive of me, like all of you all have been. I appreciate all of you all so much. And she has sent me boxes and boxes of beautiful beads and bindings. I mean, I just can't even adequately express how generous she has been to me. She's just amazing in her generosity. And the latest box she sent me had these cube beads in there, and along with a bunch of other beads, beautiful beads and bindings. I left them. There were all different sizes of cube beads. These were the smallest ones, and I left them in this little jar here to show you how she sent them to me. They were already in these little jars, and then the little jars were in a storage box. So not only is she sending me beautiful beads and bindings, she's sending me the storage boxes to put them in, and they're already in there. I don't even have to sort them out and put them in there. She's already sorted them out for me. She's just really amazing and just such a sweet lady. These are, of course, they're purple, and I think they're about 2 millimeters. I measured them against those little Miyuki cube beads, and the Miyuki cube beads are 1.8 millimeters, and these are just a tiny bit bigger than that. So I think these are 2 millimeters. But you could probably use the Miyuki cube beads, the little 1.8 millimeter Miyuki cube beads, to do what I'm doing today, and I think it would probably work out fine. So I'm going to be using those. And I've got a toggle clasp, a couple of wire guardians, a couple of 4mm jump rings, and I have a couple of 8/0 gold seed beads that I'm going to use when I do the clasping part. I'm going to be using my 6-pound fire line in smoke. And I've got a size 12 beading needle. I don't think I would use anything heavier than a 6-pound fire line or a size 12 beading needle, because I'm going to be going through these beads quite a bit. And I've got my pliers to put my findings on at the end, and my scissors and my thread burner to cut and burn down my fire line. I think that's everything. I'll put links to everything I can find links for in the description box below. So hold on, I'll get some of my beads poured out and I'll be back. Okay, I've got some of my beads out here. I've got my 4mm glass pearls and my cube beads and my 11/0 galvanized Duracoat galvanized gold Miyuki seed beads. And I've got my needle threaded, and I've got a stop bead, and I'm leaving about a 6-inch tail, just enough to put a needle on and sew it in later, because I'm going to do one side of the bracelet and then come back up and do the other side. So I don't need to leave a big long tail to put my clasping on with. So I'm going to pick up a cube bead, 2 11/0s. I know you can't see my 11/0s, they're off the screen here, but I've got a cube bead, 2 11/0s, another cube bead, 1 11/0, one of my glass pearls, 1 11/0, one of my glass pearls, and 1 11/0. So that's what I've got: a cube bead, 2 11/0s, a cube bead, an 11/0, a glass pearl, 11/0 glass pearl, and I'm ending with an 11/0. So I'm going to bring them all down here to my stop bead. And I'm going to go around all these beads again. Turn them into a little unit like that. I'm going to sew around all of them till I get past my stop bead here. And then I'm going to go through that first cube bead and the first 11-0 between the two cube beads. Yeah, between the two cube beads. And now I'm going to pick up an 11-0 and put it between these two cube beads here. And then I'm going to go on through the next cube bead and the next 11-0. And I don't know if I can get through that all at once or not. I might have to do it separately. I think I am. I'm going to go into that 11-0 and that cube bead. I'll pop that little 11-0 down in there like that. And now I'm going to go into this 11-0 to make my next unit. So I'm coming out of the top of this cube bead, and this will alternate every time. I think the next time I'll be coming out of the bottom of the 11-0, but this time I'm coming out of the top, and I want the same thing on top of my little unit that's on the first unit I made. And I've already got, I'm going to tighten my stop bead down here a little bit. I've already got one of my gold beads that I'm going to be sharing. So I'm going to pick up a pearl, an 11-0, and a pearl. Another 11-0. A cube bead. Two 11-0s. And a cube bead. And that's what I've got now. A glass pearl and 11-0, glass pearl and 11-0, a cube bead, two 11-0s, and a cube bead. And I think I might be zoomed in too close. I think I might be blurring here. We don't want to blur. Okay, so I'm coming out the top of that 11-0. I'm going to go in the bottom of it. I'm going to sew around all that again. So back into the pearl, the 11-0, the pearl, the 11-0, one of the cube beads and one of the 11-0s between the two cube beads. Actually, I'm going to go around that whole thing again before I put my little 11-0 between those two 11-0s. So I'm going to go through all these beads again because I need them to be not loose. I'm going to sew until I'm coming out between those two cube beads again. I'm going to sew into that first 11-0 between the two cube beads. Now I'm going to pick up an 11-0 and go into the next 11-0, into that connecting 11-0. that. Now I'm going to sew till I'm coming out of this 11-0 here so I can make my next unit. So I'm going to go into the purl, the 11-0, pull everything tight, go into the purl and the 11-0. So now this time I'm coming out of my, actually that's not really as straight as I want it to be. Might not, should have went around that 2 times. So now this time I'm coming out of the bottom of that 11-0. So to make the bottom of my next unit, I need to pick up a cube bead, 2 11-0s, a cube bead to go on the bottom here, and then I need an 11-0, a purl, an 11-0, and a purl to make the top part. So I'm coming out of the bottom of that 11-0, I'm going to go on the top of it. And I'm going to sew around all this again. Into the cube bead, the 2 11-0s, and the cube bead. And the 11-0, the purl, the 11-0, the purl, the connecting 11-0, and I'm going to go up into this cube bead in the first 11-0. I'm going to pick up an 11-0, go into the next 11-0, and on into the cube bead and that 11-0 there at the tip. I can get in it. There we go. Like that. Now I'm going to make my next unit. This time I'm coming out of the top of my 11-0, so I need to make the top of my unit first. So I'm going to pick up a purl, an 11-0, and a purl, an 11-0, a cube bead, 2 11-0s, and a cube bead. I'm coming out of the top of that 11-0, I'm going to go on the bottom of it. And I'm going to go around all these beads again. Go into the purl, the 11-0, purl, and the 11-0, the cube bead, and one of the 11-0s. Pick up an 11-0 and go into the next 11-0 and the cube bead and the connecting 11-0. Now I'm going to sew over here to this 11-0 so I can make my next unit. I'm going to go into the purl, the 11-0, the purl, and the 11-0 at the tip there. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I get the length that I want. And then when I come back, we'll make the other side of the bracelet. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got the length that I want now. So now I'm going to make the other half of my bracelet. So I'm coming out of this 11-0 here where I made my last unit and where I would make my next unit if that's what I was going to do, if I was going to go longer, but I'm not going to do that. I need to sew up here until I'm coming out of this 11-0 here to make the other half of my bracelet. So I'm going to go into this pearl and this 11-0. Now this part, making the other half, can be a little bit confusing. I confused myself quite a bit when I was trying to design it, but I'm going to try to show it as best I can here. Now I want the other half of my bracelet to be just like this half. So I want my pearls on the inside and my cubes on the outside. So I'm coming out of the top of this 11-0, so I need a pearl right here to go there. And then I need an 11-0, a cube bead, two 11-0s, and a cube bead to go on the outside here. And then I need another pearl to go down here. So I need an 11-0 and a pearl. So I'm going to come out of the top of that 11-0, I'm going to go into the bottom of it. And that makes my other half of that unit there. So now I'm going to go around all these again. Go back into this pearl, the 11-0, and the cube bead, the 11-0. I'm going to pick up an 11-0, go into this 11-0, and on into that cube bead and that 11-0 up there. Now I'm going to sew around all this again until I'm coming out this little 11-0 down here, because that's where I need to be to make my next unit. And I'll just do that off camera so that this video won't get terribly long. So I'm going to sew around, and when I come back I'll be coming out of this 11-0 down here. Okay, I sewed around all that again, and I'm coming back out this 11-0 down here at the bottom. And I know when I stopped it looked like it would just be another couple of steps to get into this 11-0, but I went around the whole thing again because I need this first part of this side to be nice and tight. So I went around to all of it again, and I'm coming out of this 11-0 here. So now I'm coming out of my 11-0 this way, so I need to make the outer part of my bracelet, which is a cube bead, two 11-0s, and a cube bead. And now I need to do an 11-0 and a pearl. And this is the part that can be a little bit confusing. I'm going to go into this 11-0 between these two pearls. And that makes part of this unit here. But then I need a pearl here too. So I'm going to pick up another pearl. And I'm going to go into this 11-0. So that makes it finishes up. It makes this unit here, because I already had this unit done, so it makes this unit here in the pearl unit there in the middle. So now I'm going to go around all that again. I'm going to go up the cube bead, 111/0, I'll pick up another 11/0, go into this 11/0 into the cube bead and that 11/0. Now I'm going to go around all that again to tighten this up. So I'm going to go in the pearl, the 11/0, back into this pearl and this 11/0, just going to have to do the pearl and then the 11/0. My needle keeps trying to go through that cube bead and I don't want to go through that cube bead. Okay, and now I'm going to sew until I'm coming out of this 11/0 up here to make my next unit. So I'm going to go into the cube bead, these two 11/0s, the 11/0, the cube bead, and the 11/0. Okay, so now I need to make the rest of this pearl unit, so the other two pearls on the bottom of this. So I'm coming out of my 11/0 going toward the inside, so I need a pearl to go between these two 11/0s here. Then I need a pearl on this side, and then I need an 11/0, a cube bead, two 11/0s, a cube bead for my bottom, and I need to come into this 11/0 to make that unit. Now I'm going to sew around all that again. I'm going to go into this pearl, 11/0 between those pearls, this pearl, the 11/0, into my cube bead and one of the 11/0s between the cube beads. Pick up an 11/0, go into that next 11/0, into the cube bead and that 11/0, back into this pearl and the 11/0 in the middle of those pearls, back into this pearl, and the 11/0 there, because that's what I need to be coming out of to make my next unit. Okay, so now I need to make the other half of this pearl unit, the two pearls that go on the bottom here. But first I'm coming out toward the outside of my bracelet, so I need to pick up the beads I need for the outside of my bracelet. So I need a cube bead, two 11/0s, and a cube bead, and an 11/0, and then I need a pearl to go on this side of this pearl. So I'm going to go into this 11/0, now I need my pearl to go on this side. Pick up another pearl, I'm going to go down here into this 11-0. Like that. Now I'm going to go into my cube bead, 11-0 between the first 11-0 between the cube beads, pick up an 11-0, go into that 11-0, the cube bead and the 11-0, and then I'm going to go around all that again. So I'm going to go into the pearl, the 11-0 between the pearls, this pearl, this 11-0. It always wants to go through that cube bead, and I don't want it to go through that cube bead. I'm going to go through the pearl and then go down so that I'm just going through the 11-0. I'm going to sew till I'm coming out of this 11-0 here to make my next unit. So I'm going to go into the cube bead, the 11-0, the 11-0 at the tip there, the 11-0 and the cube bead and the 11-0. So I'll do one more of these units because to me these are the more confusing ones. So I need to make the bottom, I need the bottom two pearls for this unit here. So I need to pick up a pearl, and go into this pearl, now I need to pick up a pearl to go on this side, and then I need to make my bottom. So I need an 11-0, a cube bead, two 11-0s, and a cube bead, and I need to go into this cube bead here, this 11-0 here. So that makes the other half of that. So now I'm going to go all around all this again. I'm going to go into this pearl, the 11-0 between the pearls, back into this pearl, into that 11-0 and the cube bead, into this one 11-0, pick up an 11-0, go into the next 11-0, the cube bead, and that 11-0. Now I'm going to go into this pearl, the 11-0 between the pearls, this pearl, I'm going to come out this 11-0 so that I can be in position to make my next unit. So I'm just going to keep doing that until I get the other side of my bracelet made, and then when I come back we'll put on one side of the wire guardian. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got both sides of my bracelet done now, and I went ahead and did one side of my wire guardian. This was the side I ended up at when I got done making this other side, and I went ahead and did it because I hadn't yet figured out how I was going to do it, so I needed to figure it out. I'm going to have to add a thread in to do this side. I didn't do it while I was down here because I was afraid if I tried to sew around and put the wire guardian on it would be confusing. This putting on that second side was kind of confusing anyway, and I didn't want to be more confused. I probably would have ended up confusing myself. So I've got a stop bead on here. I don't know if I said that already. I'm leaving enough of a tail to sew in. And I'm going to go up this little bead here and pull my thread through till my stop bead stops it. Now I'm going to go into this cube bead and into these 3 11-ohs. Get tangled around my whole bracelet already. Get myself untangled here. Okay. Now I'm going to finish going through these 3 here. I'm going to go up this cube bead and into this 11-oh. Now I'm going to pick up, where'd my 8-oh go? There it is. I'm going to pick up 4 11-ohs. One of my 8-ohs, and my wire guardian. Up one channel of my wire guardian. I'll go down the other channel of my wire guardian, back into my 8-oh. Hold on to the wire guardian so the thread will land in the channel. Hold on to my wire guardian and pull the slack out of my thread. Now I'm going to pick up 4 more 11-ohs. I'm going to go over here into this 11-oh. Like that. Now I want to go back around all that again. I'm going to go up here into this cube bead. I should have done that as I was going through that 11-oh and on up into that first 11-oh. My needle wants to go through 2 of them, but I want to go through 1 of them. Now, when I did this other side, I sewed all the way back down here into the body of my bracelet and came back up this 11-oh and sewed around all that again. But I had to sew pretty far down into my bracelet to follow the thread path that I had made. And rather than do that this time, I'm going to just make it easier. I'm going to make a little half-hitch knot here. So I'm going to go under this thread bridge. Make a loop, go through the loop. Pull the thread down slowly, and now I'm going to go back up this 11-oh cube bead and 11-oh, and I'm going to go back up these 4 11-ohs and the 8-oh. Back around the wire guardian, back into the 8-oh, back down these 4 11-ohs, and into that 11-oh in the cube bead, and the 11-oh on the other side of the cube bead. I'm going to make another half-hitch knot here, go under the thread bridge, go through the loop, bring the thread down slowly. Now I'm going to go back up this 11-0 and the cube bead and the 11-0. And now I'm going to go around all that again, and then I'm just going to end off my thread and make some half-inch knots and end off my thread, and then I'll take my stop bead off and sew that tail in, and then I'll put my clasp on, and then when I come back I'll be done. We'll see what I've got. So I'll be back. Okay, there's my little bracelet all done, made with some of the beads that I have gotten from Globleland and some of the cube beads that my sweet friend sent me. Like I said, I'll put a link in the description box below to the Globleland homepage in case you want to make an order with them. And that coupon code will save you 10% off your order if you make an order with them. So that's what it looks like. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.